Awakening, the hiss of releasing pressure filled the cavernous chamber as cryopods slowly opened one by one. Inside each pod, a human stirred, emerging from millennia of dreamless sleep. Dr. Aravos was among the first to open her eyes, her mind still foggy from the long slumber. As she struggled to focus, the stark reality of their situation came flooding back. They were the final remnants of humanity sent on a desperate mission to preserve their species. Ilara's pod opened fully, and she stumbled out, her legs weak from disuse. Around her, others were emerging, looking just as disoriented. The air was stale, tinged with the scent of machinery and recycled oxygen. "Status report," she croaked, her voice hoarse from centuries of silence. A nearby console flickered to life, a holographic display casting an eerie blue glow across the chamber. The ship's AI, ARA, responded in a calm, measured tone. "Good morning, Dr. Voss. The date is March 15, 5274, according to Earth's old calendar. All 10,000 colonists have successfully completed cryo-sleep. No casualties reported during the journey." Ilara's mind reeled. Over 3,000 years had passed since they left Earth. She steeled herself and asked the question that had haunted her dreams, "An Earth? What news of home?" AI's response was devoid of emotion, yet it felt like a physical blow. "I'm sorry, Dr. Voss. Long-range scans confirm that Earth was destroyed approximately 2,800 years ago. The cause remains unknown." A collective gasp echoed through the chamber as other awakening colonists heard the news. Ilara felt her knees weaken but forced herself to remain standing. They had known this was a possibility when they left, but the confirmation was devastating. Captain Zoran approached her, face a mask of determination despite the shock. "We need to focus on the present," she said, her voice carrying across the room. "What's the status of our new home?" The eye's display shifted, showing a beautiful blue-green planet. "Novaterra is habitable and matches all parameters for human colonization. Preliminary scans show no signs of intelligent life. The ship has maintained orbit for the past 72 hours, awaiting your awakening." Ilara nodded, her scientific mind already racing with the possibilities and challenges ahead. "We should begin preparations for landfall immediately," she said. As the colonists organized themselves, Ilara found herself drawn to the ship's observation deck. The view of Novaterra was breathtaking, its swirling clouds and vast oceans reminiscent of the home they had lost. Yet, as she stared out at the alien world that would become their new home, a fierce determination took hold. They would survive, they would rebuild, and one day, they would discover the truth about Earth's fate. The next few weeks were a blur of activity. Landing parties scouted the surface, confirming that Novaterra was indeed a paradise, rich in resources and perfectly suited for human habitation. As the colonists began to establish their first settlement, Ilara threw herself into her work, analyzing every bit of data collected about their new home. But at night, when the twin moons of Novaterra cast their pale light across the alien landscape, Ilara found herself unable to sleep. The loss of Earth weighed heavily on her, as did the responsibility of preserving humanity's legacy. It was during one of these sleepless nights, a month after their awakening, that ARA made a startling discovery. "Dr. Voss," the I's voice came through her personal communicator, "I've detected an anomaly you need to see." Ilara rushed to the makeshift command center, where a small group had already gathered. Captain Chen nodded grimly as she entered. "Show us," the captain commanded. A holographic display sprang to life, showing a section of space near the edge of the solar system. At first, Ilara saw nothing unusual, but then she noticed it, a distortion, almost imperceptible, bending the light of distant stars. "What are we looking at?" she asked, her scientific curiosity piqued. "Unknown," ARA replied, "but based on its characteristics, I believe it may be artificial in nature, possibly a cloaked structure or vessel." The implications hit Ilara like a thunderbolt. They were not alone. Captain Chen's expression hardened. "How long until it reaches Novaterra?" "At its current velocity," ARA responded, "approximately 3 months." A tense silence fell over the room. They had barely begun to establish themselves on this new world, and already an unknown threat loomed on the horizon. Ilara's mind raced. If there were civilizations out there advanced enough for interstellar travel and cloaking technology, what did that mean for humanity's place in the galaxy? More importantly, could these unknown entities be connected to Earth's destruction? We need to prepare, Ilara said, breaking the silence, not just for defense but for first contact. This could be our chance to learn what happened to Earth. Captain Chen nodded slowly in agreement. But we'll proceed with caution. Humanity's survival must be our top priority. As the others began to discuss strategies and contingencies, Lara found herself drawn back to the holographic display. She stared at the barely perceptible distortion, a mixture of fear and excitement coursing through her veins. For 3,000 years they had slept, believing themselves to be alone in the universe. Now, on the cusp of a new chapter in human history, they faced an uncertain future among the stars. Ilara clenched her fists, a fierce determination settling over her. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever truths they might uncover about Earth's fate, one thing was certain: humanity would face it head-on. The countdown to first contact had begun. The 3 months leading up to the arrival of the alien presence were a whirlwind of activity on Nova Terra. Under the joint leadership of Captain Chen and Dr. Voss, the fledgling human colony prepared for every conceivable scenario. Ilara stood atop the newly constructed observation tower, her eyes fixed on the night sky. Any moment now, their visitors would reveal themselves. The anticipation was palpable, a mixture of excitement and dread that seemed to permeate the very air. Any change? Captain Chen's voice crackled through the comms. Nothing yet, Ilara replied, her hand instinctively tightening on the railing. But ARA confirms they've entered the system. It won't be long now. As if on cue, a shimmering distortion appeared in the sky, rapidly growing larger. Ilara's breath caught in her throat as the cloaking field dissolved, revealing a massive ship unlike anything humans had ever constructed. It was beautiful and terrifying in equal measure, a structure of impossible geometries and pulsing bioluminescence that seemed to defy the laws of physics. As it descended towards the designated landing zone, Lara couldn't shake the feeling that they were witnessing something that would forever change the course of human history. This is it, Captain Chen's voice was steady, betraying none of the anxiety Ilara knew she must be feeling. First contact protocol is in effect. All teams to your positions. Ilara made her way to the greeting party, joining Captain Chen and the other key members of the colony's leadership. They had decided to meet their visitors in the open, a show of trust that they hoped would set the right tone. As the alien ship touched down, a hush fell over the assembled humans. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, nothing happened. Then, with a sound like singing crystal, an aperture appeared in the ship's side. The beings that emerged were as alien as their vessel, towering figures of shimmering translucent flesh, their bodies constantly shifting and flowing like living liquid. Where faces should have been, they had spiraling vortexes of iridescent color. Ilara felt a presence brush against her mind, and suddenly she understood, they were telepathic. "We greet you, children of Earth," the thought echoed in her head, carrying with it a sense of ancient wisdom and infinite sorrow. "We are the Navar. We have come to right an ancient wrong." Captain Chen stepped forward, her voice clear and unwavering. "On behalf of humanity, we welcome you to Nova Terra. I am Captain Zoran, and this is Dr. Aravos, our chief scientist." The lead Navar's form rippled, a gesture Ilara interpreted as acknowledgement. "We have much to discuss, but first we must share a truth long hidden. The destruction of your home world was no natural disaster or act of war. It was a sacrifice, one made to save this galaxy from annihilation." The words hit Ilara like a physical blow. She staggered, her mind reeling from the implications. "What do you mean, a sacrifice?" she demanded, protocol forgotten in the face of this revelation. Images flooded her mind, an enormous world-eating entity of dark energy consuming entire solar systems, Earth standing as the last bastion against this cosmic horror. A desperate plan conceived by an alliance of advanced civilizations to use Earth's unique properties as a trap, sealing away the threat but destroying the planet in the process. "We are the last of those who made this terrible choice," the Navar continued. "We have watched over your journey, guiding your ship to this world, waiting for the day we could finally reveal the truth and make amends." Captain Chen's face was a mask of controlled fury. You're saying that Earth, billions of innocent lives, were sacrificed without our knowledge or consent? The alien's thoughts carried a deep sense of regret. It was the only way to save countless more. But now the seal weakens, the entity stirs in its prison. We need humanity, the descendants of those who unknowingly gave everything, to help us finish the task. Ilara's heart pounded. They had come to the stars to preserve humanity, and now it seemed that their survival was linked to a cosmic struggle far beyond their understanding. We are ready to assist, she said firmly, her voice steady despite the tumult of emotions. Tell us what we need to do. The Navar's form shimmered with approval. Your resolve is commendable. We will share our knowledge and resources, but the final task will require unity of purpose and sacrifice. As the Navar began to explain the details of their plan, Ilara realized that the fate of their new world, and perhaps the entire galaxy, was intertwined with this ancient struggle. Their journey was far from over, in fact, it was only just beginning.